Well, look at that. Pokemon packs are very popular again. Sounds like I won't be finding any packs in my local card shops for quite a while. But don't worry, because I'm going to teach you how to get double the amount of packs for the same amount of money. Because we all know that you could easily get that chase card that you were going for if you just had one more pack. Actually, double might be an understatement. You could easily get like 8 times the amount of packs for the same amount of money if you follow all the tips in this video, especially tip number 10, because that's one I usually don't share unless I really like you. Let's start with tip number 1. Leave the store empty-handed. Now this one sounds crazy and counterintuitive, but let me explain with the real story. So about a month ago, there was this really good deal going on at Target where they were selling ETBs for half the price, 20 bucks. And I wanted to get my hands on some. And so on release day, I woke up at 5 a.m. and decided that no matter what, I was going to go on a shopping trip and I was going to come back with any sort of pack, even if it wasn't the deal I was going for. And that was my biggest mistake. You see, I pull up to the first Target location, all excited. I'm the first one in line. Store opens, and guess what? There is no ETB display anywhere. They didn't have it. But was I gonna let this stop me? No, of course not. So I pulled up to the next Target location, which is about 20 minutes away. And guess what? Absolutely nothing. Even the Pokemon cards in both of these Target sections are completely wiped. So I said, screw it. You know, these Targets are probably going to be empty anyway, so I'm going to hit up a couple Walmarts and see if they have at least anything in stock. Now, the first Walmart was completely wiped. There was like 2 Serena collection boxes, but I didn't want those. So I decided to move to the next Walmart. What did I find? Absolutely zippo. Zada, nothing. No Serena collection boxes, nothing, no hanging blisters, just barren landscapes, which honestly, I'm used to. Like, I wasn't even surprised. So I said, screw it. I'm just going to give up and go to my final backup plan, which is hitting up the local Fred Meyer, which usually has a couple boxes, some collection products. They do an all right job in keeping stock, surprisingly. So I pull up and check the vending machine because they actually do have one of those nice vending machines. And what do I find? Just a couple Paldea evolved blisters, all the Surging Sparks is wiped, all the good products, no 151, not even any Twilight Masquerade. So I grab a couple Paldea evolved blisters, just 2 of them for 10 bucks, feeling a little disheartened. But am I satisfied yet? No, of course not. So I venture further into the Fred Meyer and go into the technology department where they keep their Pokemon cards. And what do I see? A Surging Sparks ETB for $50 and a lunchbox tin for 30 bucks, which contains 6 packs. Now, knowing that I already spent $10 on blisters, I decide to get the lunchbox because I know it does contain a couple Surging Sparks packs. But am I done yet? No. Out of the corner of my eye, I spot a couple of the little knockout collections, and I remember hearing that sometimes they can contain Evolving Skies, but that's only if they have a little mark on the back. And I actually found one that did have that little FSC mark. So what do? Of course, I grabbed that one too, thinking it has Evolving Skies. Of course, I feel a little guilty because I spent a lot more than the $20 ETB deal that I thought I was going to get, and I sit in my car looking at all the packs I got. For $50 total, I have 2 Paldea evolved packs, and in the lunchbox I find out that it doesn't contain all Surging Sparks. There's only 2 blisters and the rest are Stellar Crown and I think Temporal Forces. I don't exactly remember. Just some mid-set that I wasn't really looking forward to. And inside the knockout collection, which I was really looking forward to, I don't find Evolving Skies. Instead I find some Chilling Rain. Wow. How exciting. Needless to say, I was very disheartened. Instead of spending 50 bucks on all these random products, I could have just bought one of those ETBs, the Surging Sparks ETBs in the Fred Meyer that was also there, for the same price, and gotten 9 packs of Surging Sparks. And guess what? That ETB is worth like double the price now. Okay, maybe not double, but the point still stands. And so, as I sat in the cards ripping those packs, I felt awful. Unsatisfied, miserable. I even got a couple hits, but it didn't feel worth it after spending a lot more money than I originally anticipated and just getting a bunch of packs that I didn't want. Post-rip clarity is real, guys, and it hits hard. So what's the moral of the story? Well, save yourself the guilty shopping spree and learn from my mistakes. First of all, understand what products you are planning on getting, which I did have in mind in that shopping spree, but more importantly, leave. Please leave the store if you don't find them. That way you can save that money that you were originally going to spend on products that you actually want. Not a bunch of small retail products that you don't even know what they contain. Tip number 2. Don't pay the FOMO tax. I'm gonna put this one really early in the video for a reason, because let me tell you, nearly every single new collector falls into this trap. And what it boils down to is very simple. Do not buy products on release. Don't worry, everyone feels the same. We all want to rip that pack, and it really scares us when we see them selling out immediately at the start of the launch. Literally right now we're seeing it with the release of Prismatic Evolutions and the pre-sales on Journey Together. And it is really bad because I'm looking at Whatnot and I'll see these live shippers selling single Prismatic Evolutions blisters for 20 bucks to open live and ship. 20 bucks each. Please. Don't fall for this one. Demand will always spike at the start of a new sale or a new set dropping. And the solution is super simple. Just wait 1 month before you buy a single product for a new release. That seems to be the perfect sweet spot I found from previous release dates. Now, obviously markets are fluid and everything is not set in stone, but this is a more general probably predictor of what's going to happen, because there's different stages. There's early game where it settles, and then there's late game where prices start to go up again. You just want to get in that sweet middle spot, get your prices low. Even if it is a little more expensive than paying retail value, there is a right time to buy, and that is not when release happens. Tip number 3, check Facebook Marketplace. All right, this one's for the more experienced collectors who understand what they're looking for, but make sure to be checking listings early on in your career so you can start learning what are good deals, because the sooner you can train your eyes, the sooner you can realize what's a good deal and what's not. So here's some general guidelines, because this is a pretty packed tip, and it can go very wrong if you do it incorrectly. Customer reviews are king.
You think you're the king? I'm the king.
Don't trust anyone with under 4 stars, and always read the reviews. And God forbid, never ever buy from a seller without any reviews at all. I know it's hard, but just push that away. Don't take the risk. Let someone else do it for you, okay? Let someone else suffer and put a review down before you buy from this random guy. He could stab you for all you know. He could pull out a Glock and shoot you in the head and run away with your collection. Okay, maybe that's a little extreme, but still. For example, very recently, there's this seller trying to sell a Giratina alt art for really cheap in my area, and it is so sus. They provide a bunch of pictures and even a video to show that they actually have the card, and in the description they're pretending to be like this innocent new collector, just bought a pack and happened to get a hit and want to sell it off because they don't know what it is. If you look at the reviews, it is obvious that they're a scammer. They're just trying to get you to Venmo over some money and disappear. They didn't even do this on a fresh new account. It's very clear in the reviews. The next mini tip for Facebook Marketplace is very obvious. Always make sure to look everything up on TCG Player for pricing. So yeah, just look up the market value. It takes 2 seconds, and never ever pay more or even the same amount of money for a card that you see on Facebook Marketplace than you would in the online marketplace. That is, unless if you see someone selling single cards and those cards are in perfect condition. There is no scratches, no chipping, the back is flawless, centering is really good. In that case, I can see a good argument in buying single cards for market value and sending them off to grading and making like 10x your value. Also, this is a very important tip for buying single Pokemon cards that are a little more valuable. Those alt arts that you want to check are real. Post those things, take some good screenshots and post it on a subreddit. It's called r/ismypokemoncard real or fake. I think it's r/ismypokemoncard fake, and some random saint of a redditor which hasn't posted a single comment in a decade will go into it and let you know upon glance if it's real or fake. You don't even need to know yourself if the Pokemon card is real. Someone else will just do that for you. All right, the next little tip from Marketplace is tin staffle. There is no such thing as a free lunch. If a card is way too cheap and the deal is too good to be true, then the deal, my friend, is way too good to be true, and it is definitely fake. And it is pretty obvious. Like, for example, there's a guy in my area who's trying to sell Bubble Muse for 80 bucks. They keep posting it every 12 hours. They're saying they're trying to liquidate these cards out of just the kindness in their hearts. And who knows, maybe it's true, but I am not gonna mess around with that big pile of fire ants. What, do you have like some magical intestines or something? You just eat some cardboard and take a shit and find a pristine gem mint Bubble Mew in the toilet right there? No, because there's no. But anyways, in general, Marketplace is somewhere where you can find some decent deals. I usually pick up something off Marketplace every 2 months or so. There's not always good deals, but if you scope out and check your local area for frequently, like I check it every day, I will find one deal out of a lot that is, you know, fairly decent. Nearly 90% of it's garbage, but occasionally you can find a good deal. After all, a lot of hardcore collectors and local sellers who sell on like eBay or TCG Player realize they can just sell direct to consumer and save about 10% because that transaction fee they're paying to TCG Player or eBay is the same amount that they could save like just selling the card directly to you in your local area. So take advantage of that and make sure that benefit goes to you. Tip number 4, don't buy Clutter products. I mean, if you're a casual person, you're probably not going to run into this, but as a investor and collector, this is the #1 mistake that you could make. They'll amass huge piles of big plastic cardboard boxes, like a squirrel collecting branches instead of acorns. It takes up a bunch of space without providing any value. Like my ex, why buy 10 boxes that contain 4 packs each for $200 when you can instead buy a booster box which takes about this much space for $150 that contains even more packs? 36. Actually, in general, you shouldn't be buying those collection boxes anyways because they add a little bit of a premium onto the $5 per pack retail value that you're probably getting because they throw in some promos and stuff on the front. Now, as always, for every single one of these tips, there are exceptions. For example, Shrouded Fable, horrible sets, don't buy the singles or booster boxes, but there are some really nice collection box promos. For some reason, they made horrible arts in the actual set, but the promotional cards are bomb as hell. They're crazy good. That Kingdra promo is beautiful, and don't even get me started on the Greninja promo. That is one of the best Greninja arts of all time, hands down. Same as the Galarian Moltres illustration tin for Crown Zenith, I think. Right on the front, it has a beautiful Moltres drawn by our boy Shinji Kanda, the same one who made the Giratina V alt art. So yeah, if you really like the collection box art, grab it. Yeah, definitely grab it. I mean, I guess that's the point of these collection boxes. Just make sure you don't buy them to get the packs that are inside. But there's exceptions to that too. Like these Zapdos tins, I found these for retail value. I actually got super lucky on them, and the the promo is garbage. I mean, Zapdos is cool and all, but look at that thing. But the packs inside of these 151 are very premium and ones that are very difficult to find retail. But in general, avoid buying Clutter products because they're a bit harder to sell anyways because it's not guaranteed what tins have or what's inside this or what's inside that, and they take up a lot more space, harder to liquidate, generally not the best idea. Instead of buying booster boxes if you want a big investment seal collection. Tip number 5, know which products to buy retail or online. Retail prices are resistant to supply and demand changes that occur over the wider online scope. The products that retail locations get from distributors usually are just tacked on with like a 20% markup for whatever they got the prices for, but it really depends on the location. And that's always going to be the same in brick and mortar stores. And that makes a big difference because online, the marketplace will change. Sometimes a product will go down 30%, so it's not worth buying it at that 20% markup when, I mean, it's worth 50% less. And of course, that works the complete opposite too. Products will explode in price up to like 100% value on the online market, but stay at that steady 20% markup in retail prices. And that is what leads to scalping. That's what leads to the all too familiar barren wasteland, which is the Pokemon section in most retail locations, especially in the next couple months. Now, that may have sounded like a bunch of gibberish to most common folk, but what that means is check the prices online. If it's cheaper online, then buy it, and if it's a lot cheaper in person, then buy it there. The Zapdos collection box I showed you costed about 22 bucks in retail at Target, and online it costs $40, so obviously I bought it at retail value. Now, why doesn't the Pokemon Company just print more product to meet demands? Well, that's a great question. That's the whole problem. That's why you're watching this video in the first place. My best guess is that they're trying to create a scarcity to make sure their products still retain some value, to make us continue to purchase and chase these pieces of cardboard which have pretty colors on them. And I will and always do that. Tip number 6 is a little bit unorthodox for most people, but buying products on TikTok Shop. This isn't a tip that will save you hundreds and thousands of dollars, but it's one that you should put in your segment of areas to look for Pokemon cards. Yes, I know TikTok Shop isn't the most trustworthy marketplace like the steady eBay and TCGplayer.com. I mean, let's face it, a third of America already has the app installed on their phone. They know when you go to the bathroom, they have all the data they need, so you might as well just take advantage of that and save a buck or two on their shop. Because you see, TikTok Shop does this nice little thing where they give out coupons to sellers out of their pocket so that the sellers can sell you products at the same price, but you get a bigger discount because TikTok Shop is paying you, the customer, to buy from their shop. That's actually how I got 36 packs of Twilight Masquerade for $3 per pack. I got a nice coupon on it, and no, they weren't tampered with at all because I got some nice hits. Like right over here, I got the Eevee Illustration Rare, which is the second highest priced Pokemon card in the set. So as long as you have a decent brain on your head, then you can usually cop a good deal. Just don't trust sellers unless they have over 4.9 stars, because that seems to be the standard for TikTok Shop at least. One time TikTok Shop actually gave a huge discount on one Surging Spark seller, and a bunch of people were actually able to get a bunch of hits because TikTok Shop gave a huge discount to all of these buyers because TikTok accidentally gave one of the sellers an amazing coupon. Tip number 7, set a budget. This is one of the most important tips, so make sure to listen closely because I'm going to tell you a story about 2 different collectors to emphasize the difference budgeting makes. You see, one of these collectors, Jeff, casually stops in stores and picks up 2 booster sleeves for $11 at his local game store just to test out his luck today because he's feeling pretty lucky. His Pokemon card itch is satisfied then, but after a week he decides he wants some more. So he comes back to his local game store, he picks up a text sticker collection with 3 boosters for $17, and he's feeling good. But later in the week he decides he needs to rip again. The day's going great and his boss just gave him a great Christmas bonus of $100, and he decides to celebrate by buying 2 ETBs as a little gift for himself for $90, containing a standard 9 packs each. Over the course of the month, he spent $118 for 23 packs for about $5.11 per pack, which is very standard retail pricing, about $5 per pack. Jeff is very satisfied with himself and thinks he's done a good job containing his Pokemon addiction. On the other hand, collector number 2, who we'll call Megara Flairba III, has already done her budgeting for the month, and after removing her monthly expenses, she knows she has $300 of dispensable income or fun money and has already come to the conclusion that she's going to dedicate at least $120 of it this month on Pokemon cards. So what does she do? She spends all of it at once on a sealed Surging Sparks booster box 1 month after release, paying full market price on TCG Player, and gets a 36 pack for about $3.33 per pack to rip open over the course of the month when she just needs a pack or 2 to keep her in good spirits. Not only did Megara Flairba III open 13 more packs than Jeff for the exact same price, she also saved the mental, gas, and time cost of having to actually drive to local stores to check if they even have the packs that she wanted and select them from the shelves. Here is the power of budgeting. It's not just a tool that prevents you from buying more packs and saving some money. It's one that helps you get more for the same price. Now you can also take this tip to the extreme and do what I call the filing cabinet trick, where you buy a booster bundle case for a pretty penny, stick them in a filing cabinet, and don't buy any more Pokemon products for a few months. Just go in and rip open a pack or 2 from that big filing cabinet drawer whenever you're feeling down. But that is a little extreme and you have to be a bit psychotic to do that. So that's why I don't recommend it for anyone. Even though you technically would definitely save a lot of money per pack. Tip number 8. Buy Chinese and Korean packs instead. This is probably one of the most technical tips I can give, but buying Chinese packs or just packs in different languages can save you a lot of money. They are easily like half or even a quarter of the price for the same quality of card you're getting whether you bought it in English. This tip alone is all you need to double the amount of packs you can rip open for the same amount of money. Now obviously this tip isn't for everyone, but if you're one of those people that just loves that feeling of ripping open packs, then here's one that can get you so many more packs that you can get the gratification of ripping open and seeing what's inside for half the price. In fact, if you buy Chinese cards, they're printed in Japan, which means they are of higher print quality than English anyway, so you're getting better cards for cheaper prices. So if you're going into prismatic evolutions, I highly recommend those who want to just rip open a bunch of packs to just buy them in Japanese or Chinese but that's going to take a while to get here. So just get a bunch of Japanese packs instead. Also, they're doing a run of 151 in Japanese, or no, Chinese. And they have these Pikachu promos, which are going to be very expensive in the future, and you'll make your money back. So buy those, please, if you want to rip open 151. It's a very good deal. You get these really sick promos that are only in Chinese, and you get to rip open a bunch of 151, which you can't find anywhere in the States. So I cannot stress harder than any of these other tips that it is great to open packs in different languages. Another real life example, this Chinese anniversary box, which I bought for $150 on TikTok shop. This thing is real, it's completely sealed. It has a booster bundle of Surging Sparks in Chinese and a Pikachu promo, which is worth $700 PSA 10. I got this for $150 on TikTok. It's worth $500 now. Cards in different languages hold a lot of value. I cannot stress enough the importance, the value of getting cards in different languages. But I did actually get this really early, so most people who bought this are not gonna get the prices of $150 on one of these really nice boxes. But you can see that Pikachu right there on that cover, that's in here and it's worth $500. Now that's a bit of an extreme example, but it's just proof that you should definitely buy cards in other languages. Cheaper, better quality, and you can rent more packs for the same price. Out of all the practical tips, this is one that you need to listen to. That is, if you love the experience of actually opening the pack yourself. Tip number 10. Buy bent cards. As we all know, bad card quality lowers cost. The front could be completely flawless, but if the back sucks, then the whole card loses half of its value. Do you look at the back of the card? No, I look at the front. But if I bought a card which I really wanted in like my personal collection because I just love the art, and there is a huge scratch on the back of one for a fraction of the cost, I would buy that card and put it on display on my wall. You can't see the back, the front looks amazing. Win-win situation. So if you see the chases that you want selling for really low and you just want to put them in your personal collection and keep them there forever because you truly love them for their art and not the print quality or like little dents and dings, and if you can get over all of that, please try to find that card in low quality condition. By paying less money on those chase cards that you want, you can spend the rest of your money buying actual packs that you want for sets that are coming in the future. You rip open more packs and you have the chases that you want, so you don't feel guilty if you don't get it. That's the difference between what cards you want to keep in your personal collection versus what is an investment for the future, which leads very smoothly into the next tip. Tip number 10, understand investment versus collection. Make sure there is a distinct separation between what you want to collect and sell, both physically and mentally. Very easy, just make a pile of things like products, boxes, collections that you're definitely selling in the future, and have the ones you want to keep. For example, the Skarmory and Surging Sparks, I really love the art in that card, but I'm not going to keep it as an investment that I'm going to sell in the future because I want to keep that card forever. So I'm going to buy it in the lowest quality I can get in TCG Player and display it on my wall forever. Now, in understanding an investment versus a collection, there's two different kinds: sealed and singles. In the case of singles, you want to make sure that you get the singles you want and put them in your keep collection. Really ask yourself if you would actually purchase this card for the original price, and if the answer is no, then sell it. If I had a Umbreon VMAX Alt Art, I know I wouldn't want to buy it for $2,000, so I would just sell it and buy other products that I'd want. But also, if you see something that you know will increase in price and you want to invest in them, just buy the singles, like this Latios. I know this thing will probably go up in price, so I purchased it, not to keep, but to sell in the future so I can get more personal Pokemon cards. Same case with this Pokemon Center Surging Sparks Magneton promo that I got. It has a little Pokemon Center stamp. It's a little small. I don't want to zoom in because it'll mess with my camera. I copped it for around 50 bucks, and I'm going to sell it when it reaches $100 because I know it will someday in the future, and I'll use those 50 bucks that I get to buy more cards. But you see, I've made that distinction in my mind, and so I don't feel any guilt. I'm buying these cards to sell in the future, and I know that in my mind, and physically I'm putting them in a different pile because they're for profit, not because I like the arts. Now, in the case of sealed collection versus investment, it's very simple. Rip open what you want to rip open and save what you want as an investment. And most importantly, never ripping them open. Don't ever let that temptation of ripping packs open ever touch your investment pile. For example, a very extreme case of mine, I have never opened a single pack of 151. Why? Well, personally, the arts in the set aren't very interesting to me. Yeah, I know, crazy take. Put me in the fire and burn me. But I'm just more of a Gen 3 fan. If they ever drop a Gen 3 equivalent of 151, you know my ass is going and ripping every single pack that I can ever get my hands on. Nothing will ever make me put that in the investment pile, and I'm opening that shit immediately. So what do I do with my 151? I put it in my investment pile, and I never touch it, never rip it open, and I'm gonna sell it one day and get a lot more packs and be happy and sit there opening all the packs I want with the money I get from the 151. Like Battle Partners, that's a set that I really want, and I might sell some of my sealed collection just so that I can buy more packs of Battle Partners. That's the distinction between collection versus investment. You gotta make note of it mentally and physically. Put your investment stuff in a pile that you never touch. Tip number 11. Now this is the most important tip of all time, so make sure if you're listening to anything, listen to this one, and that is make sure you're having fun. That's what really matters. Forget everything you've learned in this video and do whatever you want. After all, collecting cards is a hobby. Hobbies are supposed to be fun things you do in your spare time. Set up your own goals and most importantly, determine what's going to make you happy because that's what matters. And to me, what I find that makes me happy is opening as many packs as I can, like a little goblet. I just want to rip as many packs as I can. And that's what I like to do. And that's why I put this video together for people who also share that same interest, because this is how you min-max that interest, getting the most packs for the least amount of money. But if you think a new set is going to be fire, then by all means disregard all my tips and sell everything in your collection, personal and new, just to get that one set in as many packs as possible. Go into massive credit debt if you think that opening old sets will bring you a lot of pleasure. Grab all of the Shrouded Fable you see on the store shelves, no matter how neglected they may be, because someday, just maybe in the future, there's a really tiny possibility that you'll make your money back.